Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be the final pre-lockout discussion for the 2024 season. It's been, you know what? I can't deny it's been a pretty frustrating season of Supercoach. We've had our moments, we've had our little runs of form, but just, we've made plenty of mistakes, but I do, call me a whinger, call me a whiner, but we've had some bad luck. We've had some bad luck this season. It's one of those years, but we would love to finish on a strong final round. Even the final round, I'm still a little bit salty about like how few guns have been rested, but that could change pretty quickly. We already, there's a little bit of talk. Well, it seems it's not confirmed yet, but one big potential resting is Dommy Young. So it's been reported that he's got a little bit of calf tightness or whatever else. Obviously, he's had the hammy issue a couple of times this season. But yeah, a bit of calf tightness. And it's getting reported that Young is probably the guy to get rested in this Roosters backline, which I've got to be honest, I hope he does. I gotta be honest, dude. I'm hoping he does get rested because one, it makes the decision to sit start a lot easier because originally, obviously I'm going to play Dom Young. He's coming up against the Rabbitohs, so he was obviously going to get played, but it was going to be a tricky sit start regardless. And now it sort of makes our decision for us in terms of who do we trade out. I'm still not locked in, but we'll discuss that in a second here. So let's run through the team, how we're looking on paper with everything going on at the moment. So dummy half, I'm not gonna. There's still a part of me that's like, fuck, do I play Brayley over Robson? I don't know. There is a small part of me that is like, do I just take the punt and play Brayley? But I don't know. Fucking Robson, I think he's every chance to once again not play the full 80 minutes. I don't know. He hasn't for the last couple of weeks. He's had this hamstring niggle, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't seem too bad. He looks pretty free, but Payton is taking the chance to take him off. So it's a tough game up against the Doggies. The Knights taking on the Dolphins. I don't know. I think we get a bit of time to wait and see about the dummy half spot. I guess at the end of the day, if we take the punt on Brayley, it's not going to cost us that many points. I don't see Robson coming out and going a ton. But in saying that, I know Brayley scored 80. I do think Robson he's definitely more likely to score some attacking points than Brayley. So, I don't know. We probably just hold Brayley. We just play Robson, hope for a bit of attack, hope that he gets through a mountain of work, even if he does get subbed off. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. The front row, obviously playing semi-final. The Spoon Bowl, I'm not expecting massive things, but it is, it should be an attacking game. Let's just hope. Let's hope for a big 40 to 40 score line in this one. Tigers v Eels contest. So definitely playing final with obviously Payne Haas being out. Thank you very much. Josh Curran versus Henry. At the moment, I'm playing Curran, but if Penrith, if there are some late restings to some forwards, if Leota gets a spell or Zayo or probably, I'm thinking it probably needs to be two of their gun forwards to get a spell for Henry to come into the side. Because I gotta be honest, I would love to be able to have Henry for one final bigger minute game because I'd rather play him over Curran just with the injury to Curran and the potential minutes, but I don't know. Curran looked pretty free last week. He obviously he didn't play massive minutes, but they're coming into finals, so I'm sure they want to get Curran back to full fitness. I'm sure they're going to want to, amp him up, in preparation for the finals. So, I don't know. Again, we'll see. If there's a few restings for the Panthers forwards, then we definitely could just go Henry over Curran. Thankfully, they play literally like next to each other, so we'll know before that game if there are any. So, at the moment, Curran, but that could easily switch to Henry. The back row picks itself. And especially now if Dom Young is out, then it does make our decision easier. Because originally I was like, fuck, do we maybe sit like a Nickera? But I think we should start Crichton. Okay, I'm not going to, before I make another fucking mistake, which I've made a few mistakes of like sit starts where I've had someone on the bench that ends up playing, but the person starting didn't play. So make sure you get it right this week, especially with so few sort of, players playing, I guess, just in case. So definitely start Crichton. Ali Katoa plays early. And then Olaquatu, they both play later. So I think we'll go this as our starters. I think if for whatever reason it came down to sitting either Olaquatu or Nickera, I think I would sit Nickera. Like, fuck, I talked about this in the last video, that there are so many, this week, there's so many matchups that they literally verse each other. You got the Nickera Olaquatu, you got the Kiraz Val Holmes, you've got, who else do we have? Your Kale Iro versus Garrick. Oh my god, there's so many. So many, dude. But that's fine. Bo Fermor playing in the centres. We're obviously not going to play him unless something crazy happens. He's cover. If there's some crazy mass restings for players that I own and we have to, it's up against Penrith. I don't want to play him, but that's fine. Obviously, Dylan Brown comes in. Lockie Galvin comes in. So, Dane Laurie, I gotta be honest, I am expecting Dylan Edwards to get a rest. There's no concrete talk about it. There's just a bit of rumour floating around. Obviously, Laurie came onto the extended bench this week. I just think, if he doesn't get a rest and Laurie doesn't end up playing, whatever, it is what it is. We got screwed over with the Laurie pickup. He could have been one of the greatest purchases of all time back when we did it, but it will have turned out to be a bit of a dud. But it'll make our sit starts easier. We won't have to worry about some other sort of 50-50 matchups, I guess. But if Laurie does come in, he is... Obviously, we start him. If he's playing fullback, there is no if and or buts about that. We definitely start Dane Laurie. So I am expecting him to come in. So you know what? For now, I'll play Laurie because I'm pretty confident Dom Young will be out. So we'll do it for now. The centre wing. So... this is what I was talking about. You got... Oh, my God, dude. You got Holmes v. Kiraz. You got Iro v. Garrick. They're not... I don't think they're coming up against each other. Kale Iro and Garrick will be up against each other, which I don't love. Val Holmes... I always forget. I actually don't know, because Kiraz... He was replacing Crichton last week, so he was playing on the right, but Crichton is back. So does Crichton now go to the right hand side, and Kiraz go to the left? I gotta be honest, I would like... Well, fuck, I don't know. Oh my god, it's gonna be a fucking pain in the ass. So obviously Kiraz they were going all left last week, because obviously Burns on the left, and it was Sherry and Adokar who had a field day. But now Burns out, so now they're gonna fucking... Kiraz will probably end up playing on the left, and they'll just keep going right instead of left. But I think I don't know. I think you just gotta play Kiraz. Val Holmes as well. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be up against... he'll be on the left. I'm assuming Crichton's going to get back to the right. So it'll be Holmes up against Crichton. Obviously not a great matchup, but I don't know. I think you've got to play Holmes. He's still going to have the base. He's going to have the goal kicking. I'm playing Holmes. I'm playing all my 4 boys. They've done a good job for me, these 4 guys, over the season. I'm not going to sit them. It's fucking annoying matchups. But the thing is, I could do I could play a 50-50 game and be like, okay, maybe I think Kiraz is going to go well, but not Holmes. All of a sudden, it flips. Holmes scores a double, Kiraz gets no footy, and it's like, fuck, I should have played Holmes. So it's a 50-50. I'm going to play all 4 of these guys. Bottom line, I don't see any of them getting a late resting. I just don't see it, really. I don't see that happening. And then, so if Dom Young's out, at the moment, the centre wing is tricky. Obviously, Tedesco, Ponga, we're playing those guys, absolutely. So, we got 1 trade remaining. There's still... And again, we could be here for hours talking about all the options. There's so many good ones. I think I'm just going to lead towards a centre winger, especially now that Dom Young is probably out. I think I'm going to lean towards that. Because, I don't know, Nico Hines, yes, is still tempting, but... They're taking on Manly at 4 Pines Park. Nico Hines probably still not goal kicking. Manly, on their day, are very good. No Tommy, though. They can be leaky defensively. He'll be up against... what side is he playing on? Was he on the fucking... What side? Oh, my God. They keep... Because he played 5'8". Was he on the... Fuck, I don't know. He still swung left to right, so I don't think it matters too much, but I think he's up against Olakau'atu, which isn't ideal. So I think I'm just going to forego Hines. I think that's fine. We'll take the punt on not bringing in Hines. Hughes is probably the only other halfback that I'm very tempted by. Just getting another piece of that Melbourne pie in this Thursday night game against the Bronx. It's a tricky one, but honestly, the fact that Tyron Wishart is on the bench, I'm still half thinking that maybe Munster gets a rest, and I honestly have no idea why Wishart doesn't just start at 5'8" over Munster. I know Munster's been off for a fair while, and you want to get him, prep for the finals, but I genuinely, I'm why wouldn't you just rest Munster this game and let Wishy run wild in the 5'8" spot? So I wouldn't be shocked if Munster is a late resting and Wishart comes in at 5'8". But if Wishart does stay on the bench, then Grant, Hughes, Munster all are likely to get a rest. Wishart is 100% going to come on. He might come on at lock at some point, but if the game's gone, he's not going to keep, surely he's not going to keep all 3 of them out there. And I wouldn't be shocked if Hughes gets a spell. He could spell all of them, honestly. Depending on how the game is going, if they're flogging the Bronx, then there's every chance they all get off the field at some point. So I think I'm going to lean against Hughes, and especially, on top of that, I love the matchup, but obviously with Grant and Munster, it's just a lot of points to sort of split between them, that one of them could go terrible, the other 2 could kill it, and vice versa. So I think I'm going to lean against the Hughes pickup. I think I'm going to lean against the halves, and I'm going to go for a centre wing. So I just talked about all the options. Well, there's only really 2 options in the halfback, in my opinion. I guess the other guy... You know what? The other guy is Jerome Luai. I can't deny the Luai play is also tempting, but I'm sort of surely Luai gets a bit of a, I don't know, surely he spells Luai if the game's gone as well, right? Is he going to keep Luai out there for 80 minutes in the final round if they've got a bit of a score on the Titans? I don't know. I mean, it's who knows. So you can't really make your decision based on if they're going to get spelled during the game. But I think my initial gut was go with the center winger, and I think that's what I'm going to do. Just for the throw at the dart, throw at the high upside. Now, obviously, if Dom Young is out, we're going to be just trading out Dom Young. That's fine. So we'll do that straight away. So. There are some very, very nice options in the center wing spot. I'm going to rule out Zach Lomax. Now, obviously, I personally, I think Lomax is just the smart play. I think he is the pickup this week. Like, if you don't own Lomax, I think he is the guy to go. I think he's got the ceiling. He's got the base. He's killed me all year. He's averaging the most. He's got the goal kicking. I mean, and it's against, like, Canberra have been very good defensively, and I'm hoping that they turn up again. But they are missing a couple more players this week. Like, I don't know. It'll be an interesting matchup. Like, Dragons, Raiders. Who the fuck knows? Honestly, the Dragons have been dishing up some absolute trash, but then they fucking put on 40 points. Like, I don't know. But I haven't owned Lomax all season. At the end of the day, what am I coming? Like 4,000 something overall. Yeah, I bring in Lomax, which he's pretty highly owned. He's not owned by everybody, but he's very heavily owned. I think at this point of the season, what's the worst that can happen? Lomax gets another 120. My player gets like a 50. I drop a few more places. Who cares? Like, I think I've got to take the punt on going someone more pottish and hope the Lomax has a bit of an off game for whatever reason and doesn't score well. The smart play, like, if I was sitting in a much better position, I think I would definitely just go Lomax, right? Because I would knock off everybody else that has Lomax. Like, I would just even them out, and I think the rest of my team is pretty damn strong this week that I could make up some ground. But because I had a rough week last week, so there's no real reason to go Lomax. The one thing I did bring up in the last video was that I don't have any Canberra or Dragons players, and I was like, fuck, it would be nice to own Lomax to watch him in that game. But I realized that's the 3 o'clock Saturday game, and it's probably the one game on Saturday that I'm probably not going to get a chance to watch. I might get to watch like the very start of it, but I'm probably going to miss most of it. So I was like, well, fuck it. Oh, well, if I look at the score at the end of the game and he's killed it, so be it. Like, that's life. So Lomax, I think he's a great pickup, but I'm gonna scratch him out. I haven't owned him all year. We're just not gonna go him. Okay, so let's have a look at some other great matchups. So, who else tickles the fancy? I mean, Dane Gagai, don't mind, but I don't love. I don't know. This Knights Dolphins game, it could be anything, bro. I don't like. It's again to the 8. Like, surely it's going to be a tough contest, but like, both teams can be leaky. Both teams can come up with good defense. I don't know. I think I'm leaning against Gagai. Herbie Farnworth, very interesting, but I think Herbie, I was wondering about this the other video, but I'm pretty sure he's coming up against Best and not Dane Gagai. If he was up against Gagai, I would be very fucking interested. But I'm pretty confident he's up against Best. So, yeah, I think, I mean, he can still do some damage. He's still a fucking gun. Very underrated as a center in the game. People talking about best centers. I personally think Herbie is 100% up there with the Stephen Crichton as the best center in the game, but not up against Gagai. If he was up against Gagai, for all the good Gagai does defensively, he's not the best. So throws a little bit of spinner in the works. Brian To'o. You know what? I mean, let's look at teams, actually. Looking at the teams is probably the better way to go, because there's definitely just some teams to look at. So Broncos, nobody. Doggies, nobody of interest. Cowboys, also nobody of interest. Dolphins, we already talked about Herbie. Yeah, I mean, Hammer, so, you know what? If it's not Herbie, it's going to be the Hammer up against Dane Gagai. I still just think there's better options, but yeah, if it was switched, if it was Herbie, I would definitely prefer Herbie, but yeah, I don't love the Hammer. Don't love the Hammer. He's been good. He's been solid enough, but no, I don't think so. It's funny that he's playing the last 2 games at center because they're probably going to have him at dual center wing fullback again. And then, I don't know, is he going to start at fullback next year? Like, I didn't pick him up, but looking back at the season, he was definitely a guy that, yeah, was a very good pickup at the start of the season. So, interesting one to keep an eye on next year. I mean, he's averaged pretty well, so he'll be pretty expensive. Like, thank you for the people that commented. I can't believe literally, a little bit of side note, but I don't know why I keep getting fucking confused by that. Literally, at the start of this preseason, I did the same thing. I was looking at prices, and I was like, wait, they were like 400k at the end of last year, and now they're like coming in like 550, 600, and people in the comments were like, no, it goes off average, and I was like, oh, that makes sense, and then fucking I completely forgot. So I appreciate the comments reminding me that it's averaged and not what they fucking finished off. It'd be very interesting if it was just what their price was at the end of last year. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It would definitely change up that dynamic a lot, I think. But I don't know. It's the way they go, which is fine. The Dragons, the only guy is obviously Lomax, who I love, but I'm not going. The Eels. Oh, baby, the Eels. There are 2 guys that, I mean, this is the matchup against the West Tigers, like the Spoon Bowl. It's one of those It's one of these matchups that you're like, it's got to be a high-scoring game, and we're gonna watch it tonight, and it's gonna be a fucking bludger, and it's gonna be like, oh, they're just gonna play like absolute fucking busters. But hopefully, I mean, come on, if there's ever gonna be a high-scoring game, please be this one. Please be this one. And on top of that, Blaze Talangi Sivo, I didn't mind the potential of a Blaze Talangi playing at center, targeting, I think, the weaker. I mean, the Eels love going left, for sure. And it's probably the weaker Tigers edge. I'm trying to think. Who's on that fucking edge? But I think, I mean, both edges probably pretty weak for the Tigers, but I think that's generally the weaker edge. But I think if you're gonna think about Blaze, it's fucking Sivo, dude. Like, Sivo, he's a super, super pod, and like he is the one guy with the upside. Like, he is fucking annoying. He's so annoying to watch because he has no base. For the size and the strength of this guy, you're like, he should be basing like 40 points a game with runs and tackle busts. He does not. He just doesn't like running the footy, which is like, owning him is a nightmare. But for one game, one throw of the dartboard in the final round of the season, oh, he could easily pick up a triple, you know. Clint Gutherson sweeping, Dylan Brown finding some form. I love the Sivo play. So Sivo 100% is on my like final sort of watch list. So Sivo definitely on the short list as a potential pickup. Obviously price doesn't matter, but I mean, even like, he's actually averaged pretty well. Like, that's the other thing about him. He's been pretty solid. He's just been in and out with injury, suspension, being dropped. Like, he hasn't really strung it together. But he's actually averaged pretty well. He does have the low ones in him, but what is he, 53 against the Tigers? I would want more, but, you know, it's just... he's definitely on the short list for sure. But let's go down. So the Knights, I mean, Bradman Best, I gotta be honest, I'd probably rather... So I was just talking about the Dolphins. Bradman Best will be up against Herbie, which Herbie's a good defensive center. I mean, he can make some mistakes like his decision, but like one-on-one, he's a strong center. So I don't love the best matchup against Herbie necessarily. So I think, yeah, I don't know. I probably prefer Best over Gagai, maybe. I don't know. That's a tough one, but I think I'm gonna go. I think I just prefer Sivo over both those guys. I just think there's potentially a better chance of like a hat trick than one of these guys. I could be wrong. I could be definitely wrong. I mean, that's the thing. In this situation, yeah, I'm just going to have to make a 50-50 call. Any of these guys that I'm talking about could go off. Any of them could have a shocker. I'm just hoping I get on the higher echelon of that. Then we move into the Panthers. Oh, boy. So, there's so many options. The first one on the list here, Paul Alamotti, is oh so tempting. Again, super pod. I talked about this, I think, a couple of videos ago, that if Penrith pull out their like full strength team against the Titans, I would be all over Alamotti, and I am, because he's got the goal kicking. Like, the goal kicking just boosts it up that much more. He's got the attack. It's so hard not to go Alamotti. But then you look at Brian To'o and even a Taruva. Like, there's so many. Like, it could be any of them on their day. If they put a score on, one or two of these guys in the back line are going to go off, and you just hope that you get on the right one. Like, but it's just the fact that Alamotti's got the goal kicking that's just that, like, extra boost. Like, even if he doesn't score a double, he's got the extra points in goal kicking that I love. So, I think I would lean Alamotti. I think at the moment the short list is Sivo and Alamotti. I think that's the short list as it stands. To'o's so close because, like, To'o's been a disaster for people that picked him up right after Origin. Like, he's actually been pretty shocking since Origin. Like, after 19, 44-68, 109, 32-47, 45. That's terrible for Brian To'o, right? That's really... I mean, people spent a lot of money to bring him in too. But it's just one game. Like, 170, 104, 124. Like, he's got this... It's just a couple of tries, he's going big, and it's against the Titans. Like, you could have missed all these bad performances and then bring him in for this final game and he gets a hat trick and goes 150. It's dude, this is the worst. I wish I had one more trade. Honestly, if I had one more trade, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'd probably trade... I don't know. It's probably a good thing I don't have another trade, because that would be another decision. Like, do I trade a Holmes or trade Iro? Oh, because there's so many, like, upside guys that could go off, but they also could not. So, I think Alamotti just over To'o. So it's Alamotti and Sivo at the moment. Then the Rabbitohs are nobody of interest here. The Raiders, nobody of interest. The Roosters... So, I mean, Joey... I haven't really thought about Joey Manu, but he's still... Like, it's up against the Rabbitohs. Like, it's still a really good matchup. Nah, I think I'd rather the other guy's upside. I think Joey Manu is probably more of, like, a safer pickup, but I think I still think I prefer... someone like an Alamotti or a Sivo or even a To'o over Manu. Like, it is a good matchup. Rabbitohs are pretty fucking shocking. I don't mind it, but yeah, I think no. And then we've got, so this is the man. Honestly, I'm not even going to try to pronounce a name because I haven't actually looked up how to pronounce it. I haven't heard it. I've probably heard it a couple of times, but I haven't like looked at it to see how to pronounce it. So before I fucking just try to sound it out, Mark, I'll look at it after this video so we'll know for next year. He's an interesting, so he's the guy they've said he's coming in to make his debut, and that means Dom Young is the guy to get a rest. Now, that could change. It could be somebody else, but I think it's leaning towards Dom Young. I don't know. Like, he's had some pretty good stats in New South Wales Cup, but I wouldn't be going him over some of these other guys. The Manly boys. Oh, Tolotau Kola, dude. If it was against any other fucking matchup, honestly, any other matchup, barring Penrith, I would be all over Kola. He's shown, I think, literally every time he's played fullback, he's gone great. Like, not just okay, he's gone fucking phenomenal. He has then got injured every single time he's played fullback, but it's the last round of the season, so it doesn't matter if he fucking gets injured for next week. But I just can't. I can't against the Sharks. Like, the Sharks are like full strength. They're pretty damn good defensively. I know they conceded points last week. I still think he'll base well and potentially score okay, but against some of the other matchups, I just... He could go big, but I think it's against any other matchup, dude. I would love to go Kola, but I just can't. I just can't against the Sharkies. That's unfortunate. Then we have the Sharkies, who there's no one here. I mean, Ronnie Mulatalo's back, but I wouldn't be going him. There's no one else. The Storm. The Storm, very, very similar to the Panthers. A lot of very good options. So, Sorfalongo maybe tops the list. Playing fullback against the Bronx. Don't get me wrong, I would like to have a little bit more of this Storm attack, and the good thing with Sewer is that he's probably like 0%, unless he gets injured, he's like 0% chance of getting a rest in this game. I know I talked about the other guys that could. Sewer, there's no chance he gets rested, right? So he's going to play the full 80. It's just the fact, I was looking at the stats, like, honestly, underwhelming, I would say. Like, he's electric. He looks so good. Like, even against the Cowboys, he was fucking carving them up, but he scored 60 points. I know he's got an 80, he's got an 89, he's got a 90, but I don't know. Like, he's got to do a lot. He's one of these fullbacks. The biggest issue with him is that, one, he doesn't have great base stats. Like, he's got all the attacking upside. He's got the line breaks. He usually has a couple of line breaks. He's got tackle busting. And he usually scores a try or two, right? He gets those points. But he doesn't take a lot of carries. So he needs to make the carries count, which he does. But then, on top of that, he's not the best ball-playing fullback. He's got some scintillating ability, but at the moment, not the greatest ball-playing fullback. So he misses out on a lot of those easy try assists that other fullbacks get at times. He's more of a guy that he's going to get a line break and a try rather than get like 2 try assists off like a sweeping play, which can be good, but he just misses out on that ceiling. Now, it could be the game. Like I said the same thing with fucking Brown. Brown doesn't have a ceiling last week, and he fucking went 160, his highest score by far. So I wouldn't be shocked if Farlongo goes bonkers and tons up and goes massive. But I don't think I'm gonna go Sewer. The next guy that I was actually somewhat interested is Nick Meaney. Out of the other backline players, honestly, Nick Meaney, similar to the Paul Alamotti situation. He's got the goal kicking. Now, granted, he hasn't I actually think Meany's been pretty poor this season. Like, defensively, not great. He's had some high-scoring games where a lot of goal kicks have gone over, but just not quite getting there. But, man, like, if he gets a lot of goal kicks against the Bronx, he just has to score, like, a try, and he's going big. I like Meany a lot. I probably prefer Meany over Sewer. Sewer would be a lot more fun to watch. I still... Oh, dude. I still think I am leaning towards... I mean, fuck, I don't know. The Broncos got belted by 40 against the fucking Dolphins last week, bro. The Storm could put 70 on them. That's the danger. Like, it's Sivo Alamotti and one of these Storm players probably topping the list. The Tigers, nobody there. The Titans, nobody. Warriors not playing. Okay, so that's it. So, I think for me, it comes down to Meany / Falongo, Sivo, and Alamotti. I think I'm going to... Fuck, I don't know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I feel like I'm going to drop Alamotti off the list. I don't know. Like, he's had some 80-minute games. He's been pretty consistent, but he hasn't been anything too crazy. Barring that 100. I mean, look at the ones preceding it, like 68, 51, 24, 50. That's probably without the goal kicking, though. Or he might have had, I don't know. It's been a bit all over the shop. I think I love the Sivo just throw at the dartboard to score a triple. That would be a lot of fun. Or you go a Storm player because the Broncos could get belted. Thursday night, because I've got Eli Katoa. I don't know. I'm so torn. I'm so fucking torn, dude. So damn torn. And obviously, if we trade Dom Young, and let's say we bring in Alamotti, then we're obviously playing Alamotti, and we'd have to drop... If Laurie doesn't play, then we just drop Laurie. But if Laurie plays, then we just drop Marju. So that works out okay, actually. Marju, I don't mind not playing. He's been shocking. This is probably the game where he finally gets a triple and goes massive, but oh well. You know, we'll live with it. We'll live with it. So that's fine. So yeah, the sit starts, that's all good. It's just the decision of what we do there. Yeah. And I am hoping that Dom Young is the guy that gets rested, because it would make my life a lot easier on who to sit start. I'm hoping for some more carnage, man. I'm hoping there's a little bit more carnage to come, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm fucking torn, dude. I mean, Panda are playing at Bluebet Stadium too. Fuck, it's so juicy. Oh, dude. It's like this... Sivo, Alamotti. I need to make the choice out of Meany, Sewer. I don't know. What's my gut saying? I think my gut's saying Sewer just because he's a lot more fun to watch, but the scores don't really reflect it at times. Oh, dude. I don't know. It's out of those three guys. I'm going to wait. Obviously, I've got to make the decision before this game. Well, I mean, I don't have to, but obviously, you know what? You know what? If we do, this could make my decision somewhat easier. It's still no, I'd still have to choose between two. But if we don't know 100% if Dom Young is out or not by the time this game starts, then like I'm not going to trade Dom Young to Farlongo if it's not confirmed Dom Young is out still yet. Because obviously if Young is playing, like, you have to play him. He's got one of the highest ceilings in the comp. So if we don't have confirmation by that point, then we just don't bring in one of the Storm boys. And I think that's what I'm leaning. I'm not going to go there. And then if Dom Young is, we'll know before obviously the Tigers game, and then we have to choose if we go Sivo or Alamotti / To'o. To'o is now peeping up again. But I think that's what we're going to do. I mean, if people want to give their suggestions on what they think, I'm definitely keen to hear. There's not much else. Fuck, you know what? I've completely forgot. Captains, vice captains. Holy shit. Literally like the most important thing in the final game. And another thing I'm absolutely dreading. So, who have we got? Oh, Jesus Christ. This is difficult. So, oh, fuck, that's annoying. I was just thinking Dane Laurie. Dane Laurie plays late. We're probably not gonna know if Laurie is in before Lockie Galvin plays. And obviously I can't take the risk of starting Laurie because it screwed me a couple of times before. I would love to put like a vice captain on Dane Laurie, 100%. Like that would be beautiful. But we're probably not going to know before. So who else do we like? I mean, I guess Dylan Brown against the Tigers is very appealing. This is where he gets... Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why couldn't, like... I gotta be honest, I would love if Tedesco got rested, man. Because it's going to come down to Tedesco versus Ponga, right? Like, you can't have both. I think I have to captain Ponga. 4 o'clock. Home game. I don't know. The South Roosters game. The Roosters obviously missing a bunch. Tedesco, he'll be all over the footy. No, honestly, my first instinct was Ponga is the captain. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm not going to flip on that. I think out of the two, I like Ponga better. I still think this Knights Dolphins game, like, it should be a cracker. Like, it's for the top 8 spot. So I'm not expecting, like, it could be a high score. I don't know, but I still think Ponga is like, he's so dangerous. And the Dolphins, they are a team that can miss a lot of tackles. So I think Ponga is the go. Vice captain is important. So yeah, Dylan Brown still an option. Dylan Brown definitely an option against the Tigers. I mean, he showed that. I don't expect him to go 150 again. That would be incredible. But I'd love it. I would love it if he fucking helped me out. You know, at the moment, we'll put it on Dylan Brown. Who else have we got? So, Roosters. I mean, If Young was playing, I think Young is like a really, really good vice captain option against the Rabbits. That would be, honestly, that's probably fucking dynamite. Like, just the ceiling, the upside. I love the Dom Young, but probably not playing. So we'll stick off it for now. I got no other. I mean, Crichton against his old club. I'm trying to think, because it'll be without Walker in the side. Do they go the left a little bit more? You could take a sneaky little play on Crichton as a vice captain. I don't hate that, actually. Do I rather Brown or Crichton? I mean, Crichton, he's been great. He probably hasn't had, like, the massive ceilings. Yeah, he's had a couple of big ones. He's got a 120, 150, and a 130. That's pretty good. But it needs to be pretty big to loop. Brown versus Crichton. I don't know. Fuck, that's tough. I'll look at the matchups. See who he's up against, because it'll be... Because Jack Whiten's out. Is Cody Walker on the left usually? I don't even know who's playing in the halves. Is it fucking... I don't know. I'll have to have a squiz. But Crichton versus Dylan Brown, that's a tough one. No Dragons. Bulldogs, Cowboys. I guess you've got Holmes, but nah, there's better options. Penrith Titans, that's the other big vice captain option. So, again, we're probably not going to get a chance to vice captain Laurie because we won't know. If we bring in... I think any of our centre wings that we bring in, I think we vice captain just to give us that extra boost. Like, we're bringing in a pod that could go big. If they go massive, we also got them as a loop option. I think that's what we do. So it's out of, like, if we bring in Sevo for the Friday game, we vice captain Sevo, I think. And then if we don't bring in Sevo, we bring in Alamotti. I think we vice captain Alamotti against the Titans. I think that's a pretty good vice captain as well. And then we just stick the captain on Ponga still. I guess if we vice captain that late, actually that's like, oh fuck, can we? Oh, who would we drop? Because McLean, we can't drop McLean. Ah, Jesus Christ. I would have been... Oh. Oh, no. I don't really want to loop. That's the thing. Who would we drop? So Fafita plays in that game. Haas plays the... I don't think we can loop. Okay, maybe we can't loop. Oh. Honestly, I don't really care. I think Pong is like one of the best options this week anyway. So I don't think we can loop like anybody. Because, yeah, if I vice captain Sevo, Brown plays in the same game anyway. I don't want to drop Brown regardless. And then in the back row, Fafita plays against Penrith. So, I mean, I guess if we vice captain Sevo, we could drop... probably Nickera. Yeah, okay. We could drop Nickera. And yeah, get the loop on Sevo. But if we bring in Alamotti, I don't think we can't do the loop. So that's, yeah, it is what it is. That's fine. So I think Ponga, I'm still pretty happy as the captain, and then we just have to decide if we're gonna go. Yeah, I've ruled out the Storm plays just because, again, we don't know for sure if Dom Young is out yet. We might know in the next hour. I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah, I think I'm going to go either, Sevo or one of the Panthers centers. I think I'm also ruling out the halfback spot. I think that's the way to do it. I think I prefer that. So we just have to make that final decision. Let me know in the comments section what you guys reckon, or if there's any questions for this final round that you guys have, I'll answer them. But other than that, thank you guys for sticking around for the season. I'll definitely do maybe a video, or maybe two, discussing the end of season stuff. But regardless, it's been a fun year, despite the saltiness and despite the bit of bad luck and some poor trades at times. I've still had a great season of Supercoach. Hopefully we can just finish on a bit of a bang. I would love a little bit more carnage before the weekend is up, but we shall see what happens. And yeah, stay tuned. Make sure to like and comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.